Some dive bar somewhere. So I get him a t-shirt.
Okay, ready to shoot me now?
What did I guess?
That's my fault. It's okay. My bad. We got this. Hi. What's up? Yeah, I already corrected it by the time you changed it, so. Okay. All the others
We got one. Yeah.
Yes.
No more than that.
Like that, yeah.
Around here. Yeah, but it's $14-18 Yeah. You couldn't have it. Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce the 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Co-Star on December the 18th of 2025. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. Please be advised public attendance for meetings through Zoom is not mandatory and is a courtesy only. If for any reason Zoom fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption, and action can and will be taken provided that there is an in-person quorum. Mr. Noble? Here. Ms. Greenblatt? Here. Mr. Carr? Here. Mr. Nowicki? Here. Mayor Gubitosi?
Here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Finally getting a little break in the weather, so thank you all for coming out to join us live, and thank you for those on Zoom. We are at item number 5 on our agenda, which is workshops, and we're very happy to announce that we're going to have an every meeting of the year workshop commending Rona Parker, because Rona, we've done this once already, and we think it's such a good thing that we want to continue to do. So thank you for joining us tonight. Rona, everyone, many people in town know Rona. She's been a great volunteer for many years. Erica has language that she's about to read. We'd like to recognize Rona
And
for
then
her.
we can all sign us?
And then we can all sign it.
Sorry. Okay.
But please do read that for us, Erica, and then we can
Sure.
come down and take a picture.
Certificate of Appreciation, Borough of Bradley Beach, New Jersey, Rona Parker. The Mayor and Council recognizes the dedication and long hours of hard work that Rona Parker devoted to the Environmental Commission of the Borough of Bradley Beach. This conscientious volunteer spirit provided tremendous support to our town and to our residents and will always be appreciated. Awarded February 17th of 2026.
You all have to come with me.
You get to go with that.
You all have to come with me.
All of your volunteer helpers.
Do we have to,
Rona,
Thank you,
should we
Jerry.
vote on it?
thank you.
That's so kind of you.
Can we
How about
picture?
one with and one without? One with and one without. You should. All right. Come on, go on.
Thank you very much.
Where's your speech?
Thank you. I have one. At the drop of a hat, I do it. I certainly will.
Oh, good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
Thank you.
I'll sign that at some point.
All right, we're all squeezing in.
Yes.
Okay, oh, here we go.
Oh.
This is too bad.
Anyone else?
We're not gonna have enough room
who's
in
working
the
on it?
I'll go in the back.
Tiptoes.
Stand in the chair.
Anyone else want to get in? Okay, one, big thing, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. And I do just want to say what an honor it has been. I have served with the most wonderful people, including the ones who are here and the next generation. And it has been extraordinary. And I thank you, but I thank you on behalf of this wonderful commission and all the work that you have done, you continue to do under John's leadership. And thank you very much.
Just for the picture.
Think so?
Great, good job. Sure, absolutely. Okay.
So Rona, thank you again very much for all your years of volunteering, and don't forget to mark your calendar for all the subsequent council meetings. All right, presentations and bids, I skipped the workshop, presentations we just did. Item 7 on the agenda, approval of minutes. I will make a motion that we approve the February 3rd, 2026 council business meeting minutes.
Second. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt? Yes. Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. We will now open it up to public comments or questions specifically pertaining to tonight's agenda. Comments or questions? Mr. Clark?
Thomas J. Cohen, 3rd Avenue. I'd just like to go over this draft of the affordable housing. I mean, so many revisions. It's crazy that it wasn't received until Friday. I mean, but there's a number of, I'm just going to go over this really quickly. These are minor changes. Page 3, 450-34AH1. It should read, within the existing OP and BOR zones on the east side of Main Street.
Which, this is 450-34.
Item A,
A.
geographic parameters. The block and lots appear to be accurate, but this is not accurate, where it says GBW, General Business West Zone. That's incorrect. So I don't know how that happened. It was correct on the last one, I looked, you know. So if you go to page 4, again, item A, where it says AH2, Affordable Housing Overlay, Geographic Parameters, it should read OP and BOR zones on the west side of Main Street. So somebody, it was just put in incorrectly. So that change should definitely be made. And then as we go to AH3 on the next page, item A, geographic parameters, it should read all property located within the GBW General Business West Zone, west of the alleyway.
Actually, I have a list of all of the lots and blocks that were put into it.
But they should be added, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got all those.
Perfect,
We're gonna
thank
add
you.
those specific lot and blocks.
Thank you, Councilman.
And Mr. Cohen, what was that last, GBW west zone, west of the alleyway, where was that affordable housing, what, age?
That's AH3, 450-36A, geographic parameters.
Yeah, because there's one property that actually spans the alleyway.
Yeah, it's the
Main
bulk.
Street. Right, but it really isn't completely
No,
west of.
It isn't, but they could use it for access. So that's, and again, with Councilman Carp's additions of the block and lots in that geographic parameters would be helpful also, just to be very, very, very specific. And then at 450-38, AH5, there's no geographic parameters, but the block and lots are in here. Geographic parameters should really just read block 45 in its entirety. And then the lots are in.
Yeah, I think we could just list all of
Yeah, so I hope those are minor changes. Mr. Woodward?
Yeah.
Because we are on a time constraint, you know, we did want to get this done in December of 2025, but, you know, here we are. But thank you very much, I hope we can make those changes.
Appreciate your comments, Mr. Cohen, thank you. Other comments about tonight's agenda, questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public comment. I do want to comment on, Mr. Cohen, your moments ago mentioning that we did receive this very late. I want to actually tip my hat both to you and to Councilman Carp, because you guys both worked pretty extensively on this over the weekend to get us to a 98 percentile completion. I know, Mr. Clark, you brought some additional items you'll read a little later. But thank you for those items too. Between them, we'll get this cleaned up and ready to go for the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, man.
Okay, so closed public comments, we'll move to ordinances, and we have a handful of ordinance introductions tonight, actually 5. And let me just proceed. One thing about ordinance introductions, there will be no official public comment. Ordinance adoptions, there will be, but the council will discuss each of these very briefly just to give everyone an overview. So, ordinance number 2026-9 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 450 zoning and amending Chapter 451, Article 11, of the Borough Code, and this is to establish affordable housing overlay zones, AH1 through AH5, and AH4 is already established, but we are relocating it so that it aligns with 1 through 5. This is, in fact, the ordinance that Mr. Cohen was just referencing, and we are under fairly tight state deadlines. We have to introduce the ordinance tonight. The land use board will then review it for consistency. It's a zoning ordinance. After they review it for consistency, it'll come back to the council, and on March 3rd, we will approve it, presumably just ahead of our March 15th deadline. So, council, comments or questions? Mr. Carver, I know in particular, I've asked you to say a few things, but you also have some edits that I think you're going to.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things specifically to what Mr. Cohen had said in AH3 450-36, the geographic parameters. Erica, I actually emailed them to you.
Okay.
Just because I'm just going to read off a bunch of blocks. So it was block 32, lots 24, 25, 26, 29, block 58, lots 1, 2, 3, 7, 12, 13, and 14, block 59, lots 1, 2, 3, 12 through 14, and block 70, lots 1, 2, 3, and 8 through 12. So that was one of the comments where it was missing those lot blocks
That was under which,
That was for AH3.
Thank you. Any other specific edits, Mr. Burke?
Stole my thunder. So yeah, so exactly the ones for the AH2, including the OP and VOR on the west side of Main Street. Also, 450-34A, which is the east side of Main Street, not the west side of Main Street. AH3 we talked about, and the geographic particulars for AH5. Just it was suggested to have the entire block, but we specified all the lots within the block, so.
Okay, so,
Who cares?
so we'll need very specific language for the clerk. I know you've given her the blocks. Does she have Mr. Cran's language as well?
No, so what's the best way to do that?
Can we cover that now so we can make a motion? to
Sure.
include?
All right, so let's go to, yeah, start with AH1.
Right, can somebody like sit with me with this thing and show me where you want what, because I don't,
Yeah.
okay.
There. I know, sir.
Thank you. Okay, this is everything that you want in here, TJ, what you have?
Erica, would you mind reading it out loud for us?
I think they're looking at the regular one, which is page 3, and not the red line.
Are you okay reading it, Erica? Or would you?
All right, 450-34 AH1, A, geographic parameters. He has, opt borough zones.
Right, it's the, it's.
OP and VOR.
Right, it says, it says within the existing GBW, and that's not correct.
Okay, someone's gonna like just have to sit down with me, though, 'cause I don't know what you want me to type in
I
these
can-
things, I don't normally
I
do
can-
this. Okay.
That's okay. Paul, would you like to actually read it? I think we should get it in the record.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
the geographic parameters should read, this is 450-34.
And we'll get this to you, Erica.
Okay. The AH1 overlay zone shall apply exclusively to the following tax parcels located within the existing OP BR,
VOR.
sorry. No, they're two
Two separate.
zones. And then those blocks and lots that are listed currently.
Okay.
Doesn't refer to the east side, east,
East side.
yeah, do you include that?
East side, do we have OPR and BR on the, okay, on the east side,
OPBOR East.
east.
Is that the word you suggested as well?
Well, I just said OP and VOR on the east
On
side
the
of
east
Main
side of
Street.
Main Street.
OP and BOR on the east side.
Yes.
Mr. Clark, next.
All right, the next one is AH2, which is 450-35. Under A, geographic parameters should be the OP and VOR on the west side of Main Street. So add that. And the lots and blocks are correct.
We'll add that before the block.
Correct.
Okay.
Then go down to AH3, which is 450-36. That is correct. All right, geographic parameters. All property located within the GBW General Business West Zone, west of Main Street, and west of the alleyway.
Well, west of Main Street can be taken out, just west of the.
Just
alley.
west of the alley?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so just west of the alley.
Do you still keep to the municipal boundary along the New Jersey Transit
Yeah.
Rail Corridor?
And then there's a big list of all of the lots and blocks.
And you read those already?
And I read those already.
And we have one more for page 5.
Yep.
else that we want to see before we vote?
That's all I have.
Okay, any other comments or questions from the council?
I just want to thank Mitch and TJ for all the hard work in putting this together. I mean, I think we all sort of were part of this process initially and landed on it.
Yeah, we all ran away. So, yes, I think we all appreciate your efforts,
Yes.
gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
So, with that said, I will make a motion that we will change this draft to include the edits that that Councilman Hart has read to us, which include, let me make sure I get these right. What do we have, AH1, these are all geographic parameters for AH1, AH2, what else? 3,
3 and 5.
and AH5. So make a motion that we include and the block and lot numbers. Mr. Carpenter separately read aloud and forwarded to Alan Clerk. So I'll make a motion that we include all of those edits in this draft.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Now I will make a motion that we approve for introduction, ordinance 2026-9 as amended by the last motion.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Again, we're breathing a sigh of relief because this has been a long time coming, but that was a lot of work in a short period of time. Thank you. Okay, ordinance 2026-10, amending Chapter 9, Traffic of the Borough's revised general ordinances to revise temporary parking regulations applicable during snow emergencies. And we have the dump of 12 inches of snow or so a few weeks ago to thank for some of these particular language changes. Because we've heard enough over the years, and we heard it again this year, concerns about the language we have in alternate side of the street parking. So we believe these amendments are just clearing up that language a bit. But along with alternate side of the street parking, we've added more clarity around removal of snow from sidewalks, which now has largely been expanded to add more clarity to corner lots. And in particular, I'll give everyone a sneak preview of what this says, but corner lots, it's always been managed this way, but it hasn't been stated clearly enough. Corner lots are responsible for removing snow up to the curb line on handicap ramps that are on the corners. Once you hit the curb line, it is the borough's responsibility to remove snow. When you get 10 and 12 and 15 inches of snow dumped on you, nothing's a particularly clean process for removing snow, especially in a tightly packed community as we have. So we've heard complaints of folks saying, well, the plows didn't clear the snow, beyond the curb line. It is up to the borough to clear the snow beyond the curb line. It is up to the property owners to clear the snow up to the curb line. So in any given snowfall, plows might not get it all the way to the curb, and then we, the borough, will come back and get that. On the other hand, if the plows clear it right up to the curb and push snow into a corner ADA ramp that has already been cleared, that property owner is going to have to clear it again. The line of demarcation is the curb. So I'm sure we're not done with this. The next heavy snow, we'll get a lot of concerns raised again. Our residents and our employees are all doing the best we can given the circumstances, but for purposes of this ordinance, I just want everyone to know we're adding clarity, hopefully to reduce the number of questions we get. I doubt we'll reduce the number of complaints, but at least questions will be hopefully fewer. Comments or questions from the council on this one?
I would just say that it's critical that people understand the responsibility of the snow removal. But I also heard people, complain about, well, it's frozen, and I can't break it off, I can't get it off. I just wanted to highlight that the code does say you can put sand down, salt, and that would, cover you. because, you know, a non-slippery surface, you know, so that's, you know, adding grit to it, does solve that problem, and then you would not be fined. But, you know, preferably clear the way, because our emergency services really need that. As well as our traveling, you know, pedestrian, ability to walk in neighborhoods.
And to your point, that language is already there and will remain. The other thing that is not completely understood by the broad public, but the ordinance already included, and we have clarified further, that these can be daily fines. So people have complained that they got whatever the fine was at the time. In a subsequent meeting over the next month or so, we'll be raising fines. We have to wait for the court system to approve that. But people were referencing a single fine, and I just want folks to know that there may be times the borough has the right to fine on a daily basis. So please, especially in large snow events, do your best to not only clean but maintain your sidewalks. It's all about public safety. Any other comments on this?
I just wanted to also point out that what's also in the ordinance is that if the borough needs to come and actually clear the sidewalk, that an assessment will go back to the homeowner who hasn't done it.
That is an option that we can pursue. Yeah. Just to clarify, we can hire an independent entity to clear your sidewalk for you in the event, and this may in fact happen on rare occasion, especially if there's a combination of a large snowfall and folks who are just out of town and who have not made arrangements to cover their sidewalks. We can allow a sidewalk to remain covered with snow for an extended period, and that is clearly an option we can pursue. It's already in the ordinance. We're not changing that part of it, but we can hire an independent entity at a reasonable market cost to move your snow and then bill you and or attach a lien to your property. So with all that said, I will make a motion that we approve the introduction of 2026-10.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. 2026-11 is a really interesting amendment, I think, because this is referencing amending chapter 398, streets and sidewalks, and basically focusing on the maintenance of streets and sidewalks, and in particular keeping sidewalks clear. And this was prompted because we actually had an incident in the borough where somebody positioned a porta potty in the middle of the sidewalk. And people can't get around porta potties in the width of a 4-foot wide sidewalk. And lo and behold, code came to us and said, we don't have an ordinance saying keep the sidewalk clear. So we will shortly, as we are now introducing new language that is very specific in terms of people's responsibilities for keeping their sidewalks clear and traversable by ADA standards. Any comments or questions on this one?
So I presume that also includes, sometimes I see cars that can't fit in the driveway because there's too many cars in the driveway and the back of the car is across the sidewalk.
It references equipment and so forth. Okay, so if no further questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the introduction of ordinance 2026-11.
Second. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Okay, the next is ordinance amending chapter 365, which is rental property of the borough's revised general ordinances to update the administration of occupancy tax on certain rentals. And this is in particular for short-term rentals. A year ago, roughly, maybe March timeframe or so, we for the first time introduced an ordinance that we were able to put a tax, municipal occupancy tax, thank you for coming to me. We were able to tax short-term rentals. And again, short-term rentals have to meet all sorts of specific definitions, one of which is it's got to be 30 days or less. But as good as that was as a starting point for us, it was probably, that ordinance was probably a little light on some of the administrative criteria, how we did not, for example, request detailed documentation. We did not create a form that would be delivered, would be notarized by the person, the landlord, and delivered to our CFO. So there's a lot of administrative enhancements that we've made now via this particular introduction that will hopefully make it a cleaner, more efficient process, both for landlords as well as for the folks on the borough side of this that are, you know, tracking all this data. And we've also made sure to make it all in accordance with New Jersey state statutes. So I think these are some really good enhancements to what's already started out to be a better process for tracking and managing short-term rentals in the borough. Comments or questions?
Just want to say that I think it was a very good idea to also take some of the onus off of all the record keeping, to pay alternatively a flat rate rather than a percentage fee, and not have to supply as much information. Seems a bit easier.
Well, and just to make sure we avoid confusion, we actually have both. We actually still have a tax. The tax has to be a percentage. In fact, it can't be flat rate. But what I think we were referencing, there is a provision that in lieu of providing all the record keeping and reporting, that would support the 3% tax. The landlords now have an option to pay a $500 to your point flat fee.
Mm-hmm.
So just for clarity, the actual tax has to be a percentage. However, if they don't keep records, they can pay $500 flat. And that $500 flat actually has some magic to it as well. We did some calculations estimating what a full-time rental would be at 3% on an average price of $350. Worked out to be just about $500. So people who are renting less than full summer probably would be overpaying if they pay the $500. But if they don't keep records, then that would be their option. If no further comments or questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the introduction of 2026-12.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes, and now I would love to let someone else speak about these, so I'll turn to Council President DeNoble.
Thank you. This is the ordinance amending Chapter 425 trees of the borough's revised general ordinance to enhance the operations and regulations of the borough's Shade Tree Commission. When someone starts up a chainsaw, there are many calls made to the Shade Tree Commission, to Borough Hall, probably to the police, because people don't know if that application has been approved. When people fill out this application, they say that they're gonna cut down a tree, it might be dead, but it might be a good tree, but they have to replace it with other trees, because we're trying to build up our canopy. So you may have seen this with the construction department, if they put this in the window, so you know the construction is approved. This would be the card now for the shade tree. So if you go by and you see a card in the window, you know the work has been approved. If you go by and you don't see the card in the window, you can continue to make those calls. And the shade tree would like me to thank everybody for being concerned about our tree canopy and beautifying our beautiful borough with these wonderful trees. And hopefully this will clear up a little confusion and keep everybody in the loop.
I'm sorry I called you so many times.
That's okay, and Rich Carp has been one of my callers, but we appreciate that you are concerned, and actually I spoke to Spring Lake about this, and other municipalities, and they're gonna follow our lead on this as well, because they're experiencing the same thing. So, if I may, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2026-13.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, that's the last of the introductions. Now we're going to move to ordinance adoptions. Each of these will be made open to public comment, so let's start with bond ordinance 2026-06, which is a bond ordinance providing for renovations to the beach promenade and the acquisition of Moby mats. We're appropriating up to $450,000, and that would be for not only Moby mats but for ramps. Any comments or questions before I open it up to the public? All right, with that said, open it up to the public, comments or questions?
Second, Mr. Vogt?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Second,
Yeah,
Mr.
vote
Noble?
on
Yes. Greenblatt? Yes. Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Now that it's open to the public, Mr. Weber.
Public's here. Hi, John Weber, 313 Lorraine Avenue. So Moby Mats, it's like Band-Aid. It's a brand name, but it's used to cover like all the right. So the ones that we use are called Access Deck, and they're this flat, big pieces of plastic, and that's all we have. And they can't go up inclines or whatever. So I think the Moby Mat brand, or at least there's some brand that actually can go up even a slight, just like a couple of foot, whatever. Do we pick, we're just doing the money here, has there been any talk of like what we're going to get?
Well, there's been talk about it. It's ill-defined at this point because we're trying to match what we have, which are pervious mats that have a specific linkage to link them together.
Well,
The blue ones.
The kind that you're talking about, the pervious one, that's an evergreen,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's
everyone
all-
else has these flat pieces of giant it's like this could be this tape, it's just a big giant piece of
Not
plastic.
everywhere. We have 3 beaches that have the pervious mats.
Okay, so whichever, those are those are the good kind.
That's
So
what we
if you
want.
can, they're probably more expensive, but we're bonding, so so you're bonding against beach money, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all, so that's the way to go.
And they're wide as well.
Right.
I'm not a fan of wide, I'm a fan of kind of can go up and over, that's all.
Impervious.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Well,
Yes, Mr. Fehrenbach.
Good evening, I'm Greg Fehrenbach, 408 Bradley Boulevard. I'm going to take probably a different tack than former Councilman Weber took. The bond ordinance authorizes the borough to borrow through the beach utility up to about $450,000 for what I identify as being 3 purposes. The repair of steps and ramps leading from the promenade to the beach, construction of 2 additional ramps from the promenade to the beach in addition to the ones that currently exist, and purchase of beach mats to facilitate travel from the promenade to the beach. My questions and comments are as follows. Regarding the first activity, repairs are by definition an operational expense, not a capital expense. These should be funded through the operating budget, not through debt financing, requiring the borough to pay interest on the borrowing funds. Why are these repairs not being funded through the operating budget? Secondly, the construction of ramps are indeed a capital expense. However, the nearly only purpose for which Bradley Beach is eligible for CDBG grant funding through the Monmouth County Committee is for ADA accessibility. The borough should seek funding through this grant program and reduce the debt burden on the beach utility to construct these additional ramps. As the borough serves residents from many Monmouth County municipalities, in addition to the borough itself, it would be a good candidate for funding under this program. Third item, previously these mats have been purchased as an operational expense for the beach utility, not a capital debt-funded expense of the utility. As a debt-funded beach utility, not a capital debt-funded expense of the utility. I'm sorry. As a debt-funded purchase, these mats would be paid for over several years with an added cost of annual interest and fees, because of the fact that in order to be able to do a bond ordinance, you have to have bond counsel, and you have to pay various fees to various professionals to be able to process the item. Any mats purchased for 2026 or any other year should be purchased as an operational expense of the current year's budget, utilities budget, reducing the debt imposed on the utility and eliminating the added interest cost of carrying and servicing the debt. Lastly, there is no down payment of at least 5% provided in this ordinance. While for a self-liquidating utility such as the beach utility, it is not necessary to provide a down payment, the Division of Local Government Services has advised many municipalities in the past that it is a good fiscal practice to do so. In this way, the municipality is beginning to the process of defeasing the debt immediately. The beach utility will have considerable and future debt relating to the various projects that this and prior governing bodies have authorized or are under consideration. Operational expenses and projects with potential for grant funding should not be added to these already ambitious debt-funded project costs. The self-contained borough needs to focus on living within its means. This is true of the utilities as well as the current fund. By definition, debt financing of operational expenses is not living within one's means. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Fehrenbach, just a couple quick comments, just so you have some feedback. We did talk to our bond counsel. She said the mats in particular, she can use a useful life of 5 years. She said they do not have to be funded through operations. Just so you know, at least this question was vetted. I think you do raise a good question about the 5% down payment. And for everybody's benefit, the beach utility is experiencing a decent amount of expenditures through debt service. Outfall pipe that runs through the beach, and a portion of that is being funded through the beach utility. We're trying to get the bathrooms and the new concession areas set up. We believe a good portion of that cost should get reimbursed, if you will, by a concessionaire that would take that place. But I do appreciate your comments regarding the need for us to manage the utility in an appropriate manner that is trying our best to minimize debt. The final comment is there are projects that need to get off the ground. Some of them are urgent. Extension of the promenade. We have a decent amount of grant funding lined up, about $4 million. That probably will help us cover 1/3 of that promenade extension. Along with that $4 million, the borough probably will have to contribute perhaps another $1 million through our own funding. But that is, as you know, a critical health and safety issue, resiliency issue for the borough. That is the south end of town is our lowest area relative to sea level and most at risk for flooding, right into Silver Lake. So you're absolutely right. We have to be good stewards of our money and try to spend where we can from operations. That said, I just want to make sure everyone also, and you as well, sir, understand that we're doing our best to also meet some pretty important demands on our budget and our borough. I don't know if you have any other comments.
We may disagree a little, but thank you for your explanations.
Thank you. Mr. Clark.
Thomas J. Cohen. It seems that historically in Bradley Beach, we've kind of done things a little backwards for different reasons. In this case, we haven't set the budget yet for the beach, have we?
No.
For 2026. So, but what we have done is we've set up the beach fees already for the badges. So now we're locked into that. I think they should really go hand in hand. I know historically this is the way they've done it, so everybody can get a discount at Christmas time. But I want us to remember this day when we set the daily badge fee, because we do have to protect the taxpayers to make sure that this is a funded utility operation without taxpayer inputs. But I think based on some of Mr. Fehrenbach's comments, maybe we should be raising the daily fee to pay for some of these things directly and not bonding. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak on that, but I think that's something we should look at. And please, let's remember this day when we set the daily beach fee.
Well, not only remember this day we'll have financial data in front of us.
Yes.
Other comments or questions? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, seeing no further public comments or questions, I'll make a motion that we adopt bond ordinance 2026-06.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
I'd just like to say, yes, with the caveat, is I think we have an opportunity to look for grant money to help pay for these. And probably get that information from Mr. Fehrenbach, but we can go down that path and look to see if we can't get for the ramp improvements. So yes, but we should go and look for the grant money as well.
Yeah, I've asked the engineer to give us that already.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, next is ordinance 2026-7. I won't read the full description. It's chapter 160, construction codes, uniform certificates of occupancy. Basically, we are striking the words garbage disposals from a list of things that you need to get a permit fee for. The reason we're striking the word garbage disposal in 2 words is because you cannot get a permit fee for a garbage disposal because they are not allowed in the borough. So this really is somewhat of an editorial correction. Any comments or questions from the council first? No? Okay, I'll make a motion that we open it for public discussion.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Comments or questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion that we close public comment and adopt ordinance 2026-7.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Ms. Greenblatt, would you like to take this next one? It's the arts.
Oh, for the Arts Committee. Yes, so we are making some changes to the ordinance. This is for adoption, and this is to enlarge the Arts Council, which was consisted of 9 members plus an ex officio, and the Arts Council would like to have 13 members, including the ex officio, who is Amy Baker, who's tourism. So that's really primarily the change, which also includes keeping everyone at an equal status and not having any one person as a chairperson, or, I mean, they will have a treasurer and a secretary, but they don't want to have any alternates. So they want everyone to have a vote. So that's really what this is. So I would ask that we approve, motion to approve, goes out to the public, so to go to the public for 2026-8.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, with that said, we'll open it up to the public. Any comments or questions about 2026-8? Okay, seeing none on Zoom or in the room, I will make a motion that we close public comment and approve for adoption ordinance 2026-8.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. There is a communication, item 10 on our agenda, Arts Council appointments memo, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I know we are appointing.
It's in there.
Do you have it?
It was after all the ordinances.
Shall I join to read the appointments?
Yeah, so the appointments are Abby Khan, Zelda Bacourtney, and Karen Curley Schleifer, all for 1-year new member appointments. These appointments expire on 12/31/2026.
Very good, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda are resolutions. We'll start with our consent agenda items. There are 3 items. Does the council want to discuss or vote out any of these separately?
I'm going to ask that we vote out 2026-71 separately, please.
Okay. Any other comments or questions in there? All right, I will make a motion that we approve consent agenda resolution items 2026-69, bill list for February 17, and 2026-70, the approval for the Brain Injury Alliance annual 5K.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, item 2026-71, I'm going to have to recuse myself on this one, so, Ms. Greenblatt, can I ask you to
Sure, so 2026-71, approving Darcy's Tavern to host a live band and to serve outdoor food and beverage in its parking lot on Sunday, March 1st, 2026, for their St. Patrick's Day Parade. And I will look to approve 2026-71. Second.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
I'm also going to recuse myself. I have multiple items that may appear as a conflict, and I do live within 200 feet of the establishment. Thank you.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
I will recuse, I also live within 200 feet of the establishment. Okay, thank you. Now we'll move to individual resolutions. Item 2026-47 is the mediation agreement that our planner, Jen Bean, has struck this agreement with the affordable housing entity for Bradley Beach to have what we think is a very fair resolution, and this is our opportunity to formally approve it. Any comments or questions? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-47, the mediation agreement with affordable housing.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. 2026-72 is approving a shared services agreement with the Borough of Neptune City for the provision of commercial cleaners to clean the Neptune City Community Center. Basically, this is a very small shared service. We're getting more or less reimbursed for custodians, but because we share a rec center director, Courtney Pappas, and Neptune City, interestingly, doesn't have the facility to have regular cleaning services, we will use some of our people to support their keeping their rec center clean. Any comments or questions? It's like, by the way, it's like $500 a week or so.
Just one thing that occurred to me based on our last meeting, where we had that overtime settlement. I just wanted to make sure we're managing that this is all regular time and that we're not creating overtime situation or that it's being watched very closely so we don't have a situation in the future. So just.
Yeah,
just
currently
let me
it's 3 cleaners at $10, $10 a week.
know. But not overtime.
Right,
In
yeah.
addition to what they do here.
Yeah, within 40 hours.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, we manage overtime, we do, the current administration. In the past, there was no, well, for a couple of years back in 21 or 20, there was just no understanding that we had to pay half-time on top of their regular time. We all understand that now, and no overtime is authorized unless, it's approved by us, by me. So, but very appropriate note. So with no other comment, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-72.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. 2026-73 is rejection of bids for the beach access matting systems. We talked with our QPA, and the problem is that the low bidder was not able to meet the specifications we need to be able to integrate the current mats that we already have with the new mats that they were proposing. So with guidance from our QPA, we will reject, under this resolution, we'll reject the bids we received and rebid it with clearer specification requirements.
Sounds good.
No comments or questions? I will make a motion then that we approve 2026-73.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. 2026-74, awarding bid for lead paint inspection services to Lou Environmental Services. I know that Lou Environmental Services was the low bidder. Mr. Doherty, are you aware of more background on this particular lead inspection?
Yeah, it's something we should be doing as a municipality. We have.
And the
So these
QPA
guys are professionals, they do it in other towns as well.
Someone asked me if we've used them in the past.
We have never used them. Okay. But to my knowledge, Bradley Beach has never had a third-party lead paint inspection company.
And I'm sorry, I had asked that question, I was the one who asked that question, because I'm just wondering, sometimes the lowest bid may not be the best bid, but I know we have to take the lowest bid, but I guess my question was, are we familiar, not just in this case, but we want to know that we have assurances that they'll do the job we want them to do.
Yeah, they're vetted by the qualified person agent, the recommendations before you as the council to
Right.
whether to approve it or not.
Okay. Any other comments or questions about the Willett Pay Inspection Services?
Mine were answered, thank you so much.
I will make a motion that we approve 2026-74 for Willett Pay Inspection
Second.
Services.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Cart?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. In 2026-75, we have a handful of adjustments to our temporary budget. Any comments or questions? Okay, again, I know we've had opportunities to discuss this. With no additional comments, I will make a motion to approve 2026-75.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Cart?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Some will tell me that this is a few months too late, but item 2026-76 is adopting a policy on acceptance of holiday gifts and nominal gifts by our employees. And the reason I say some will say it's too late, most people in town over the years from time to time have goodness of their hearts brought a tray of cookies to our dispatch or the DPW or whomever, just as a holiday thank you. And the question was raised right, it happened to be right at the Christmas date, like just before December 25th, that the state of New Jersey has very, very strict rules against employees receiving gifts. Literally, I'm told, the strictest in the country. And Chief Arnold was ready to have me thrown in jail, I think. But you know, as of that date, as I learned this, and we're right in the midst of gift giving, I did proclaim that our employees should not accept gifts, following very strict guidelines. I subsequently learned that there are exceptions. They're very subjective exceptions. I don't like subjectivity. It's difficult to ask an employee to assess a subjective situation. Oh, example. You cannot accept a gift if you think that person giving the gift is expecting something in return. Better service from DPW, for example. So we've created, and what this resolution is all about, we've created, working with our attorneys, very specific, as unsubjective as possible language that gives employees exceptions. So relatively small, $25 of value gifts that cannot be gift cards, that cannot be cash, can't be tickets to ball games and things like that, but you can accept different types of food. And I think this is a reasonably good compromise from where I was a couple months ago, and I'm personally very happy with it. Thank our attorney, Alan Roth, who put this together and went through it a few times with me and with Chief Arnold. Dispatch will be happy, Chief, right? They get a tray of cookies here or there. But any comments or questions from the council?
I know that the resolution will be on the website, but where will the policy live? The policy.
Yeah, we have an employee policy manual, and this resolution is saying we're approving updating the policy manual.
So the public really doesn't have access to
No,
this?
it's a public document, but it's guidance for our employees. And we also crafted like a Q&A thing that we'll include with the manual that just says, if you're in this situation, do this, if you're in that situation, do that. So I think we just have more clarity around the situation.
I mean, but just for the public to really be clear about it.
Public can ask, yeah, they can ask. I mean, it's an employee manual, but it's a public document, anyone who wants to see it can copy. But it's really to guide our employees. Again, the idea is everybody understands the simple gift giving, simple thank yous, especially around the holidays. But there can be times where it may not be appropriate, and we still need to communicate that clearly.
Is it reasonable to post this information somehow next year during the holiday season? So people kind of know and are, you know, the employees aren't put in an awkward position?
Well, I posted the policy this past year, and it didn't go over well, because Policy this year was
In advance.
no gifts.
Right. well
So
in
yes,
advance.
absolutely,
Thank
yes.
you.
Okay, no further questions, I'll make a motion that do we approve this yet? Did I vote on this?
Not yet.
Okay. Shannon keeps asking me these questions.
I know.
I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-76.
Second, Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Guggentosi?
Yes. Okay, item 12 on the agenda, announcements, there are none. Item 13A on the agenda, our newly married business administrator, who's very tanned and looking very fit, has joined us, and do you have a report, sir?
Yes, and thank you very much, and yes, I did get married in St. Croix over the weekend. They did offer me that position as the St. Croix Business Administrator with a house on the beach, but I said, no! I'm gonna go back to Bradley Beach.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, the mayor's directive to empower the residents of Bradley Beach more has led us to work closer with GovPilot, and they have an app that you can put on your phone. It's called GovAlert, GovAlert. GovAlert, you can download it from App Store, whatever phone you use. It allows you to report a concern anywhere in town at any time in town. What's nice about it is it filters through GovPilot and goes directly to either the Department of Public Works, or it goes to code enforcement, goes to construction, it goes to the police department, or if it doesn't go to any of them, it'll go to the business administrator. So instead of having to go onto Facebook and report a problem, or send an email to every member of the governing body, this way you can take a picture of something and send it. You can write a concern, you can write a description, not write a description, and it geolocates where the concern is coming from. So it helps us get out to address, again, it could be code enforcement issue, DPW, anything like that. So this is live now. We're going to get the word out about this more and more. And again, look to continue to empower the residents here in Bradley Beach.
Matt, if you're not prepared, I can wing it, but could you also add a comment about the public portal for, looking at COs and things like that, which we just opened up?
Yes. So I think folks know that we're going through a redesign of the website. But on the website right now, we've kind of hidden a bit. On the website right now, you can go into the home page, and in the home page, if you go to Borough Hall, and then from there go to Departments, you will find a link that you can click on to look at open permits. Under the department, it would be the community development. So under community development, there is, it says to click the status of permits, click here. So again, it's a little challenging to get to right now. We're going to simplify that, but it will allow, as the mayor mentioned, anyone in Bradley Beach, or outside of Bradley Beach, to look up any address and see if there are any outstanding permits or what those permits may be. And also it will show you the history of permits, and which permits have been closed, whether it's electrical, plumbing, structural, what have you.
Folks may remember a few years ago, Bradley Beach, 5 or 6 years ago perhaps now, had access to the SDL portal. And it was pretty easy to get to. I personally used it as a resident just to understand what was going on a house down the street or whatever. But you could find out if construction was going on, you could find out if permits were pulled, that kind of a thing. And it was shut down. Our borough access to that portal was shut down. We found out that GovPilot 1 has a very similar portal, and it is now available. The problem only is it's 3 clicks to get to it. We're going to elevate it so it'll be very easy to find. Along with the complaints thing that you've already mentioned, that we're going to have that easy to find on our website. But you can go to this particular public portal and you can check the status of COs and so forth. Also, GovPilot has acquired SDL, and they tell us that in time they're going to migrate their platform from the current one to the SDL platform. So So I think all good things for the residents of Bradley Beach, but we have to make it more easily accessible, and that will come with Amy Baker, who's in the process, and she's tracking all this very closely, and she's in the process of revamping our website. So thank you for that report, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to be back.
And we are now at 13B, which is mayor and council reports. Can I ask Councilman Nowicki to begin?
Thank you, Mayor. First, police activity report. February 8th, Main Street and Highway 33, a 28-year-old male from Howell, New Jersey, was arrested and charged with hindering his own apprehension after he provided false information to officers during a traffic stop, knowing that he had an outstanding warrant for his arrest. Patrolman Anthony Badalamenti made the arrest with assistance from Sergeant Kevin Gale. On February 9th, 615 Main Street, a 30-year-old male from Long Branch, New Jersey, was arrested and charged with criminal mischief after he was observed by SLEO Samuel Forgak breaking a light at the train station. Samuel Forgak and Patrolman Anthony Badalamenti made the arrest. On February 12th, 500 Main Street, a 62-year-old female from Towns River was arrested and charged with simple assault stemming from an incident at the Chase Bank located at 500 Main Street. Patrolwoman Gianna Trani and Patrolman Sean Johnson made the arrest. On February 13th, at Brindley and Ocean Avenue, a 51-year-old male from Bradley Beach was arrested during a field contact for an outstanding contempt of court warrant. He was processed and later released from posting bail. Patrolman Daniel Crow made the arrest. February 14th, Valentine's Day, 100 block Brindley Avenue, a 23-year-old male from Bradley Beach was arrested and charged with driving under the influence. He was also issued additional motor vehicle summonses. Patrolman Anthony Badalamenti made the arrest with the assistance of Patrolman Daniel Crow. The police department also investigated 6 motor vehicle accidents. They also responded to several calls for service during this time period. To report on Sylvan Lake Commission, there's a meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. here in this room. Just a quick update on projects associated with the lake. The outfall pipe that goes out underneath the beach to the ocean. We've all been asking, what's the status? How come there's no activity out there? They've had 50 weather delay days, from nor'easters and flooding to frozen ground. So we are actually in conversation with DEP currently to get an extension of the permit so they can get the work done here in March and April. So that's underway, and the contractor's back out there mobilized, and hopefully this warm weather will stay here. We are also in conversation with DEP still on the outlet gate, which is a replacement of the control structure at the lake. So we are in conversation. Permits are still pending for that. We had to have a dam safety permit and an individual wetland permit. So those are under review, and we're being told any day those should get approved. Either DEP will incorporate that project into the outfall pipe, or we will go out with a separate contract. So we're waiting to see what DEP confirms what they're going to be able to help us with. And then in the last Sylvan Lake project, the bulkhead along Bradley Boulevard, permits were approved for that project, and CME is currently finalizing designs, and we are on schedule to meet the deadline of April 11th, I believe. We're intending to have it done before that, but to meet that deadline for the funding, have it advertised and awarded by that date. And then just really quickly, on the sewer program, we have 2 projects that we're trying to advance here this spring. One is the 5th Avenue, completion from Madison to Ocean Avenue, and those plans are under review right now by DEP. And so we're hopeful that those will get approved and be able to advertise and complete 5th Avenue construction this spring. In addition, Ocean Park from Ocean Avenue to Madison, which will be the first piece of Ocean Park. Those plans are also under review by DEP, and our hope is that we'll get those under construction and done by this spring or before summer, before June. So that's the status of my report, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Paul, just for the public's benefit, you keep referring to the dam safety permit, and I think you should manage your cursing well.
So yes, I will restrain myself from referring to it as a dam.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let me turn to Councilman Clark.
All right, so for the first aid for the operational period ending February 17th, 2026, the squad responded to 12-day calls and 6 night calls for a total of 18. 10 of them were for medical, 8 were for fire. There was one out-of-town mutual aid request for Ocean Grove, and the squad requested no mutual aid for this period. Total volunteer hours were 51, and they fulfilled 100% of their assignments for the operational period. Of course, they're still looking for volunteers for the first aid. They offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone wishing to volunteer for the first aid squad, applications can be found on the borough's websites. And they are also accepting applications for their cadet program for young people 16 to 18 years of age who are interested in serving our community. I also know that last meeting I had also made mention of the blood drive, and I saw some of our council people giving blood today. I just wanted to give a shout out to Amy Baker about the fantastic job that she did in organizing that. It was a great turnout when I was there, and so thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, we'll turn to Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Okay, I'm going to start with my long report first. A busy recreation committee. The rec committee met yesterday, and there are a whole bunch of activities that I just want to share. Senior Club's next meeting is Wednesday, February 25th, noon to 3 at the Firehouse Banquet Hall. Mahjong Open Play runs every Friday, 1 to 3 at the Biazzi Center. Senior Game Time Tuesdays runs the first and third Tuesday of each month. Bring your own game and join friends at the Biazzi Center. And the following recurring events take place at the Neptune City Community Center and are part of our shared service agreement. The Glitter and Glue Crew, geared for ages 2 to 3, meets every Tuesday and Thursday morning, 11:30 to 12:15 p.m. Ballroom dancing for intermediate dancers is held every Wednesday at 5:45 p.m. This one has a fee of $12 per person at the door. Indoor pickleball every Saturday at 10 a.m. Senior strength training every Monday morning, 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. Step aerobics, all levels, Mondays and Thursdays, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Senior game day, Wednesdays, noon at the community center. Quilting for those who already know how to quilt and would like to continue a project with other quilters in a larger space. Meets Mondays at 5 p.m. And ping pong is offered every Wednesday evening, 5 to 8 p.m. open play. And all of these are free with the exception of ballroom dancing. Come join the rec department and the Ladies Auxiliary for Radio Bingo, March 21st, 6 p.m. at the Fire Hall. It will feature the music of the 90s. Go to the Recreation Department website to purchase tickets for admission. And mark your calendars for the glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt, March 27th, 7 p.m. at the Rec Center baseball field. Rain date is Saturday, March 28th at the same time. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Construction continues at the rec site with completion of paver work. The playground and all new surfaces are complete with court striping planned for the end of winter. There is still limited public access to the facility, and a grand reopening will take place in early spring. The Rec Committee's next meeting will be Monday, March 8th, 6:30 p.m. at the Neptune City Community Center. The Arts Council met Monday, February 9th. Mark your calendar for a music improvisation play shop. Wednesday, March 5th, 7 to 8 p.m. at the Biazzi Center. Led by Arts Council member Abby Khan, this musical program is a guided, collaborative music-making experience. Instruments will be provided and all levels from little to no experience welcome. Come join this fun expression of community music making. Doors open at 6:30. The event is free of charge. And many thanks to the newly appointed members, Abby Khan, Zelda Courtney, and Karen Schleifer. Their next meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 2nd, 10:30 a.m. in the Biazzi Center, and the public is always welcome. The Fletcher Lake Commission canceled their meeting this month. Their next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 12th, 6 p.m. here in this council chamber. And I just want to point out, I don't know if the mayor is going to mention this, but I want to thank the mayor and Mr. Arnone for getting the blinking lights on the Memorial Drive at the Fourth Avenue intersection.
Thank you very much. And yes, a special thanks to Director Arnone and to the the county engineer, Joe Attore. They got the light up right away. We were really excited about that. And then it took about 3 or 4 months to actually get it to blink. But now it is blinking. We have more stop signs and blinking red lights, and all kinds of caution signals and things painted. We're doing everything in our power right now until they slow the speeds and the volume of traffic on Memorial. We're doing everything we can in our power to just make that a safer intersection. I've said this before, I'll say it again. As part of our outreach to the county, we said, look, we keep having accidents at this corner. Sure enough, they went back over their records and they identified that there have been 60 accidents over 5 years, averaging 12 per year at that intersection. So they were very willing to jump in and help us. They are doing the traffic slimming or dieting or whatever they call it. They've already done it through Asbury, and they're coming through Bradley soon, over the, I guess, 3 years out. But so they can't do more major changes now, but they're going to install bike lanes and things like that to make Memorial a much safer place to drive. But at least for now, we do have a blinking light, and I am very excited about that. Let me turn it to Council President Jane DeNoble.
Thank you, Mayor. The Board of Ed is having their meeting tonight, so I'll report on that at the next meeting. Shade Tree is also next month, but I do want to mention Chairperson Noelle Weinberg has been working very hard for the spring planting. There's a $40,000 grant, and there'll be approximately 70 trees planted throughout the borough, so I'll keep you posted on that. Tourism did not have a meeting, but I do want to mention the Jazz Fest. It was amazing, and I want to thank Amy Baker for her incredible work, her energy, her talent. The talent that she brought to this community was off the hook. I volunteered along with Julie Matitis and Rhea Warner, and when you saw people walk out of that gymnasium or the auditorium at the school, the smiles, they were beaming. It was incredible. In fact, a man came from Millville because they do something similar in Montclair at a cost of $1 million. But they did cut back this year. They're doing it for $800,000. Amy Baker did this for 1% of that. She had admission, she had sponsors for $8,000. She had 6 nights of entertainment. That was amazing. And I just want to read a couple quick letters, one from a Bradley resident. Hi, Mayor. I just want to let you know how much Helene and I enjoyed Jazz Fest. It was amazing. I had a whole new appreciation for jazz, and what Amy Baker put together was absolutely phenomenal. Such incredible talent. We were just blown away. It is hard to pick my favorite, and he lists all the different acts that he saw. And then he said, thanks again for making our choice in Bradley Beach a decision we will never regret. And one from a Bradley Beach business. I just wanted to let you know you have a stellar employee on the borough staff. I'm continually amazed by the sheer effort Amy Baker puts in and how many balls she can juggle at one time for Bradley Beach. Amy has put the Jazz Fest and Bradley Beach on the map single-handedly. Darcy's business saw an increase in first-time customers during the Jazz Fest weekend, and the show on Thursday was a unique and enjoyable experience at the tavern. Go Amy, go Bradley Beach. Tom McGill. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And that feedback was indicative of other businesses that Elbow Room and Uva that all had great upticks in activity. Plus, it really is continuing to just put Bradley Beach on the map. I think the nature of that entertainment, the cultural aspects of it that people just everywhere relate to. It's a wonderful thing, and Amy definitely deserves a number of congrats. Okay, I am the liaison to the library, and I feel guilty because every time I try to give a library report, our librarian, Ashley Bogley, gives me a list of about 1,000 things that the library is doing this 1 month. And, because I want to get everybody out of here before midnight, I'm not gonna read that list, but it's amazing. I'm blown away by what our library does. I'm gonna read off a couple of things, but please, if you have young children, if you wanna spend time there just, mingling with others, go to their website. It's amazing. But a handful of things. They have a winter reading program that actually closes at the end of this month, but you can go there throughout the month of February. They have to get a little contest. You can win prizes, but it's also just good camaraderie. They have weekly events. Monday, bring your kids for Lego building and games. Thursdays they have crafts. I first read it, I thought it said graft, but it's crafts, so that's good. Thursdays through March 12th, they have chair yoga at 5:30 p.m. And Monday 23rd, they have an event called the Art Roulette, and they basically, you form teams and you start a piece of art, you pass it to the next person, and by the end of the process, you've got a community work of art. Anyway, they just find a lot of really creative, unique things to do, and it's a relatively untapped resource, I think, within the local Bradley Beach. So please check out their website if you have any interest at all. Also, we are likely to have the Second Avenue Grill concession is open for bidding. The current vendor is not likely to renew this contract. So just get the word out. If anyone you know wants to sell hamburgers, hot dogs, ice cream, something else at the beach in the summer, please let those people know to reach out to Borough Hall for Second Avenue Grill location. I was going to comment briefly on Just Fest. I won't, Jamie, you did a great job of it, but it was an amazing event. Two unique dates that are coming up for Bradley Beach this year. July 26th, we are planning, and Amy Hall's involved in this, we were planning on working with our fire company, planning to recognize the Brindley Inn fire. July 26th is the anniversary of this historic fire. It unfortunately killed over 20 people, and Howard Fire Company responded to it and ultimately put the fire out. Nonetheless, many lives were lost, and because of this fire, new safety regulations were developed in the state of New Jersey. So it's kind of a historic landmark fire, if you will, because of all the new safety regulations that came with it. We're going to try to recognize it probably at our town green on July 26th. There's another date coming up that I just found out about today. Amy Hall is also already on this, but October 11th, 2026 marks the 100-year anniversary of what event? Does anybody know? That would bring us to what, 1926? What? Chief, you've been around a while. What's the date? October 11th, 2026.
Prohibition?
The legendary Babe Ruth of the New York Yankees played a game, a makeup game against, I believe, a Negro League team. And they played it here in Bradley Beach, and someone, a grandson or son of someone who was the umpire in the game.
Where?
I don't know. I want to find it out. But anyway, it's kind of a, and he's got newspaper clippings and all kinds of information about it. So we're going to find out more, and hopefully we can have a little fun with that come October 11th. So anyway, that said, that concludes my report. Now let me open it up to the public for comments or questions.
I'm sure there's a lot less houses back then, so.
I know.
Yeah.
It's probably in my neighborhood. Mr. Weber?
Okay, thanks. John Weber, 313 Lorraine. I got a lot, so do not answer any of my questions until my time is done and you can answer them first.
I'll put that.
Thank you.
Thank you for the redo on Rona, because I'm still not, I suggested this in July, early in January, and I'm just not used to the speed and efficiency of the Gugatosi administration, and you just had it on for that last meeting in January, and we weren't ready for it, so thank you.
We had a band, Rona, we had so much office service.
Anyway, something, and I actually came to talk about it, you gotta change the ordinance to get people to remove the snow at the corners, and look at you guys, again, speed and efficiency, this is amazing. This one, I think you need some help with. Skip the stuff, we passed a law, it's going into effect, you said March 1st, and I'm wondering what the town is doing in terms of education. I identified some educational materials, I passed them along. What are we doing? Do we have a plan? Because unless the town doesn't want to enforce it as March 1st, as we said, so put a note in that. I'm really glad that there was nothing on the agenda about the New Jersey Pact and Real rules, that there wasn't a resolution against this. I'm still waiting to get the resolution that you were considering, because I would love it to have the Environmental Commission weigh in on that. So would that be forthcoming?
Let me stop you.
Let you answer.
Mr. Quinn, are you sharing
Hold on
that, or
time.
have you not yet shared that?
We have our own for the land use board, which will be presented on Thursday.
Okay, so you have
Due
that.
to the theft of home rule by the bureaucrats of Trenton, but, you know, you have your own, I believe, so.
Okay.
But I will share mine with Mr. Weber, I'm sure.
Well, it's okay. I knew you were sharing it with the land use board, and I thought you might, with Mr. Bagley as a representative to the environmental commission.
Sure.
But John, I can get you, the
Yeah.
draft we have now, which by the way is a work in progress. So,
Send
but
it
I'll get
along.
it to you just so you have.
Especially if you don't hear from us, and I reclaim any of that time. I want to ask about the status of the plant protection strips, so everybody knows what we're talking about. Along the beach, there's a supposed post and rope system, and then there's these signs about, you know, endangered species and protecting the dunes. Post and rope's kind of generous, it's more like a stick and a string, and as such, they kind of weren't really, I mean, they were installed in 2021 or 2022 for free, a crew came here and did that. They came back in May of 2025 and re-erected the ones that had fallen down, and that was another freebie, but for whatever reason, by June of last year, the most of them were down. So in August, I had somebody come here from, come on Zoom from Conserve Wildlife Foundation, explaining what these plant protection strips were all about, and that the expectation was that the town would take over, you know, putting these things up, and it wasn't, you know, we wouldn't have to get these crews to come in and do this for free. It's kind of on us. He also explained how we can avoid some really drastic regulations to protect endangered species at the beach if we keep these plant protection strips in place. So last summer I identified better material, more robust, and it happens to be the same stuff that we use to mark out the around the lifeguards. It's like a post and rope system that's it's not so much a stick and a string, it's actually a post and a rope. And they put them around lifeguard stands so people don't set their chairs up there. So I identified last summer, like, let's get a whole lot more of that stuff, like basically a half a mile of that stuff, and that's what we can use for the post and rope for the plant protection strips. So I would like to ask, are we gonna order those materials? And why don't you wait till the end to answer, so I can get through the rest of this.
Once
okay?
your time is up, it's up.
I know. And another thing, this is me speaking personally, I would like the town to make it the policy of this town to not use heavy equipment to push sand out of our beach entrances, because that just makes our town less safe. It, you know, loosens up the sand so it's gonna blow away faster. Plus, you know, we have programs where people plant grass in the dunes. I mean, you know, we have grasses in classes in the school with the American Little Society to teach kids how these dune plants hold the dunes together, and that protects the town. And then what are we supposed to tell the kids when they see bulldozers just like bulldozing that stuff in the plants that they planted and all that stuff out onto the beach? I think it's a really bad idea. So I'd like the town to make it the policy of the town to not do that, and I'd be happy to work with you on such a resolution or whatever you want to make it. And I have a question now on the shade tree ordinance that you just introduced. People have a year to plant that tree, so is the expectation that that green placard would stay in the window for like a year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then, and that's fine, I just want to make sure of that. And then, I want to double check, so there is the expectation if you're doing construction, they're supposed to have that yellow thing?
Yep, it's required,
Okay.
yellow permit.
Okay, and then, wow, that was it. I was gonna say something about Mayor Grinch. Mayor Gubitosi sounds a lot better than Mayor Grinch, so it's good that you made that resolution 76, that was a big move.
There we go.
That's it, now you can answer my questions.
Oh, you're running out of time, John. It's 5 minutes. Well, so a lot of your questions are around skip the stuff, No plan to date that I'm aware of unless
Okay.
Enterprise Accounts.
So, yes.
Oh, look at
So,
this.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mitch made a flyer, but I haven't
Yeah,
heard of it.
no,
since.
so anyway, so all of the material, whether or not it's social media that we talked about or flyers, is Amy Baker's domain. Now that she had requested that, just let me get through the Jazz Fest, so she's on my radar this week, and I will let you know how that goes.
Okay, awesome.
And I don't think I mean, John, I recall when you were sitting in Mitch's seat, you yourself were saying.
Mitch is sitting in my seat, but
Yeah.
just.
And now he is. But now we call it Mitch's seat, notice the sign here. But back in the day, I recall you saying, that we don't need a lot of communication, but we need to keep people aware. And you said a lot of people are doing this already anyway,
Well,
so.
so a couple businesses definitely are, for
Okay.
sure. I was thinking about businesses, and also, I mean, I think I want the public to know it better. So fewer instances of people getting home and like, hey, I don't have forks, or whatever. You know, I mean, again, if they're bringing it home, they probably don't need forks, but just to minimize all that, I think educating the public would be good.
And Amy is, as we've mentioned a few times over the last month or so, is in the midst of redesigning our website, making it much more functional with little banners and whatever is ADA compliant. And I'm sure there would be an opportunity to post periodically updates like that, so, Mitch, you seem to have already gone through the do that. Perfect. Wheel, as I mentioned, I'll get you the draft. It's, from a novice's standpoint, it looks really scary, so I'm really anxious to learn more from you to understand why it's a wonderful thing. I'll get you that, but it is a work in progress, so we very much can change it. The council's familiar with the current draft, but I've asked them for comments as well. I think one or two of them have made this up as well. We'll try to go to one or two seminars on it as well. And the plant protection strips, I like the idea of something more sturdy, because the things that you had out there from the volunteers, it was like
Cotton.
No, it was like a strength, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, no, I mean, it
No,
was,
again, it was also free, so.
again, but I like what you're saying. My issue, and I've talked to you about this, and we just have to work through it, is, well, one, does it go all the way around the dunes, because then we're also talking about,
Well, it never has, so I don't think that's the expectation.
so it's only on the beach side.
Well, you know, I think into the entrances, which, like,
Yeah.
it should, you know.
And the concern I have, and I want to, I've already said this to you, I'm saying it for the public's benefit. I just want to understand, working with the federal regulations, working with the environmentalists such as yourself, that we don't create a scenario where we ultimately, where the dunes just take over the beach. Because, you know, this 10% thing the dune could conceivably grow and grow and grow every year to the point where it's 10% of 10 feet. Because we have
Let's get it back up and then worry about that later. Well, you have to worry,
Understood.
you have to worry about the dunes taking over the beach. Your beach is getting smaller from the other side because the sea level is rising. So remember that. So
Yeah.
the more sand is in the dunes,
Yeah.
as that happens, like the better off that we are. So
Well, the
just.
better off we are, but not the beach goer who has no beach sand to sit on. So we're
Okay.
trying to figure out how we make the ecosystem work.
If you're open to talk, I talked to somebody today who's got a PhD in this stuff, and they'd love to talk if you want to talk to them. It's not, the dunes going eastward are not your problem.
Yeah.
That's not your problem.
And I mentioned to you earlier, and I'm sure you'll help us through this, but Biagio Capone, our director of DPW, said he already is concerned that the dunes are going in a couple of locations, so close together that we may not be able to fit a 10-foot.
But that's ridiculous, because the entrances are as wide as this room.
Well, that's what I haven't done.
And they're getting wider Moby mats, but I don't think they're this wide. They're like, there's,
Is that before or after the sheeping?
well, that's what they are now. So.
All I'm saying is, I hear you, and we need to work on it. We need to come up with a solution. I do like the idea of the sturdy ropes,
Okay.
stakes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ms. Nutitis? Peter, we'll get to you in a minute.
Judy Natalis, 605 North Avenue. First and foremost, I do want to say that the Jazz Fest was amazing, and I'm glad I got to volunteer 2 years in a row and seeing it grow. And boy, the weather is always a challenge at this time of year, but it seems like Jazz Fest is turning into Jazz Week. So, but kudos to Amy, and it was just so nice seeing some of the people who were there last year and everything, and a lot of good camaraderie, and being a hostess, seating people were just so excited about it. So it was a wonderful, wonderful event, so thank you for that. Secondly, I want to thank Mayor Al the police department and DPW for all the work cleaning up North Avenue. It was a disaster and kind of like a state of emergency on our street. As everybody knows, you couldn't even get down the street, so I do want to thank everybody. DPW took the initiative even before our street was like a skating rink, and they brought out the heavy-duty equipment to skim the street. This was even prior to even neighbors, calling up the mayor. So thank you for that. Watching Andrew maneuver this tractor, it was like a sports car. You gotta see it. It was hysterical. But thank you to that, and then thank you again for all the clearance that you just did as well. It was greatly appreciated because you couldn't even get down the street, and it really was a safety measure. With that being said, though, I do want to talk about the introduction of the ordinance, I believe it's 2610, about the snow removal. And I'm all about accountability, whether it's neighbor, the homeowners, commercial property owners, myself, residents, whomever it is, you have to clean your sidewalks and everything else. So, and move your cars. And I applaud the town for taking that initiative and really enforcing those laws and ordinances. I think it's a challenge. It's not a complaint. It's a challenge. When I was reading the ordinance today about on the corners of trying, a homeowner, and I'm just talking about the residential area, trying to clean those corners. Once you plow, and we know even with our driveways, it becomes a sheet, it's a wall, and it's like you can't get through it. So I think though that something has to be done where on the corners when you're plowing, maybe they can't make the piles real high on the corners. Maybe we gotta really rethink of how do we plow so that there is access. I always think you can always do something better, right? It's like you're always in evolution, and how can we do things? Because you physically cannot move the ice and the snow. You just can't. And the only way it can be moved, if it's plowed, and someone has to, it's their responsibility to try to get an opening so somebody can cross there, you physically just can't do it. And that is my concern, is like, maybe we need to talk about that a little more, and I'm sure DPW probably has thought about it, but I don't think you can pile up the snow on the corner. Maybe you gotta push it off to the corner. So I think there has to be a strategy of where you plow and how you plow, because a homeowner would have to hire like a bobcat, a tractor to come there to move it, because a snow blower is not gonna do it, and you physically just can't chip away at it. So I think we have to start giving some thought to that. And I think it's a good challenge to have. It's like, let's process and think about how can we all work together. Also, it's, and this is another thing, is like when they're plowing the street, and again, people who have driveways, it's you're standing out there and the plow comes, and we all go through this, and you're plowed back in, and then you're stuck in the driveway, and it's like what you do. And I think, and I do believe that there's equipment. I know we all saw that tractor online. I think Jane looked into the equipment, obviously not affordable or something like that. But I do think that there is other, like a shovel on front of the plows that you could put in that can help maneuver, because it is becoming a hardship to then reshovel your driveway, because then we're all stuck, and I know all property owners offer to their neighbors or whatever to park your cars, and then you're stuck in the driveway, and then you're back outside hours again trying to move it. And again, once you plow, it becomes ice and boulders, and if you move your snow on the sides, then you got a boulder comes into your driveway, and it's like, how do I move that? And unfortunately, people are gonna have health issues, some gonna have a heart attack, stroke, or doing this, but to think that someone just can hire somebody to do that, that's not feasible. Nor was there, I know this was a once in a 10-year storm, but nor was there enough of people out there plowing and shoveling and everything to help out people. So I think as we're plowing, and maybe conversations with DPW, and again, it's not a complaint, it's a topic of discussion. How can we maneuver? Because if you're on the Parkway and the Turnpike, I don't know if anybody's ever seen when they plow the 3 roads, they're staggered. Maybe there's something where we can follow, they could scoop in, and that a driveway's not so parked, and then the corners are not so plowed up. But we gotta come together and work something out there, because it is a hardship for everybody. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. On that note, because you're voicing concerns that a million people have raised, so
Yeah.
thank you for voicing that. I just want to say on behalf of the borough employees, I'm talking to police, I'm talking about OEM, I'm talking about DPW. When Bradley Beach, we're not Nome, Alaska, we don't have staff to cover a super heavy snowfall the way we would like, the way everybody's driveway could be cleared. You mentioned that one arm thing that people were saying.
It's not affordable.
I must have got that, no, it's $180,000, it's affordable, it breaks all the time. People have told me who have looked into it, it makes no sense. By the way, you spend it, it looks really pretty, it looks really good as long as there's no snow, but as soon as you get a heavy snow, it breaks. And to use it when it's not broken, you have to drive like 2 miles per hour, because you've got to be very precise at the beginning and the end of the driveway. These plows get up ahead of steam, they get 5 or 10 or whatever miles per hour to move the snow. I've been told with heavy snow, with those boulders of ice that you're talking about, if you slow that plow down too slow, it can't move, it can't push the snow. And to say that, and on any given shift, 5 or 6 or 7 DPW employees could somehow run around with a little bobcat thing or two and clear every single corner, they can't, not in a reasonable amount of time. So it is ultimately, I love what you said. You said, give it thought. I can tell you, because I've sat in the middle of these conversations, the borough gives it thought. In the middle of a snowstorm, a lot. I mean, hours. Me spending time with Biagio, with Chief Arnold. You know, to your point, there are fixes we can engineer where we get out to Newark Ave, because cars could not move down Newark Avenue. And you highlighted that to us, others did as well. A couple of the north-south streets, I forget which ones, but we did go out and do special hits. But we can't clear every corner left. People said, I know it's on Facebook, I get text messages, people said, well, if they clear the handicap ramp at the corner to the curb, the plows leave 8 feet of snow in the street, and the homeowner can't be expected to clear 8 feet into the street. 100% agree. In that situation, DPW, our people have got to clear it. The problem is when they clear it, because of the way the plow works and they're going 5 or 7 miles an hour, it does push a lot of snow back into the driveway. Am I saying we can't do better? No. I hope we can do better. But I don't want people to think we don't sit around thinking about this a lot and try to figure it out. And again, if we were in Nome, Alaska, if we were in Siberia, we'd have tons of equipment and we'd all be ready. Residents would all be ready. We're sitting in Bradley Beach and we get 10 inches of snow, I don't know, once every 5 or 7 years, I don't know, but it doesn't happen often. We can't staff for this level of snow. So I know I sound like a naysayer, but we're very sensitive to this. Our people do everything they can, but I don't know that we're ever going to have a perfect solution. And as you were describing these things, and many other residents described, I just have to add a word of caution or a word of, restraint, because I don't want people to think after you've eloquently told us what needs to be done, that we're going to be able to somehow figure it out.
I'm not telling you what to be done, I'm asking to, we need to maybe think about things, it's a discussion.
We keep thinking, if you and others can bring us actual answers, because all of our thinking, you see what all of our thinking delivers.
When a storm hits, it's an opportunity to revisit things, and unfortunately, as you know, we got trapped on our streets, we got trapped in our driveways, we got trapped in our streets, and it was, a fire truck or paramedics could not come down our street. And you
right.
guys addressed it, and
No,
I'm
no.
not, so the whole thing is, I'm not complaining, I'm just asking.
You're not complaining. I'm trying to educate everybody that you've given me this opportunity. People were trapped on your street. We had to send, not individuals that I'm aware of, but I know cars could not move up and down your street. I know our own garbage and recycling could not move up and down Newark Avenue. I know. The problem was, because I talked to Biagio Capone, the Director of Public Works, shortly after that snow, we couldn't get down your street because Newark was one of the worst streets for people not moving their cars.
Yep.
And it's a narrow street. And to your point, many don't have driveways. But if people don't move their cars, we're very limited in what we can do. And then, I know because people tell me this, it used to be on Facebook earlier and right before the snow, oh, Bradley Beach never enforces. Well, Bradley Beach went out and enforced as much as they could. Then the comments were, oh, these fines, the fines aren't enough because, people would rather just pay the fine and move their car. In a meeting or two, people are all gonna see we're increasing fines. Now, there's only so much we can do. The chief tried to bring in, tow trucks to move the cars that sat there over 48 hours and were covered in snow. Tow trucks won't move a parked car if it's covered in snow. They need somebody to dig it out of the snow, and then they'll tow it. I probably shouldn't say that publicly, because now people know it's gonna be trouble getting their cars towed. But we are doing everything in our power to make heavy snowfalls in Bradley Beach sustainable. And if people can come up with new ideas, new one-arm machines that actually work, we'll consider anything and everything. It's just, I want people to understand, our employees, DPW employees in particular, are knocking themselves out trying to figure out how to, in fact, not only how to do it better, but everything I've heard from neighboring municipalities, Spring Lake and Avon and Belmar, that our roads were way better than these other local municipalities. So I don't know, I didn't tour them myself, but I've recurring comments from our residents. They're so much better than everybody else. So I'm very proud of them. I think we can all do better, but I just want to set expectations that we've exhausted a lot of what we can do.
And they did fabulous. Between police and DPW and you, Mr. Knapp, you guys took care of us big time. So, thank you.
Any other comments or complaints? Yes, Mr. Sharp. Sorry I made you wait so long, sir.
Oh, no problem.
I had to get snow out of my system.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to bring up that same topic again.
Uh-oh.
Peter Sharp, 301 Second Avenue. Again, about pending ordinance 10. A specific question and perhaps a comment. As you envision this ordinance, at the corners, we have two handicap ramps in very close proximity to each other. When you think about what you're going to ask the homeowner to do, are you going to ask him to clear just one path out to the street and out to the world beyond, or are you going to ask him to clear both paths?
It's property owners, so it could be our Main Street businesses as well, but property owners need to clear both of those paths.
Why?
Why?
For one path will get you out into the street, into the world beyond. Why do a excessively redundant removal for no real purpose?
Why do we have the two paths to begin with?
Well, on nice sunny days when everybody's out there walking, that's fine, but one path will get you where you need to go and save some wear and tear on some of your homeowners.
No, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're just limited mobility, I understand what a hardship it appears to be to a person who lives on a corner lot. Honestly, that's been our law, that's how we've enforced it to date.
That was my question. Here's my comment. When the snow plows come by, that corner snow gets really packed in. And I don't know if you've seen what the guys, the DPW does at the intersections. And let me preface this remark by saying I have the greatest respect for the work they do. They work hard, they do a good job, and this is no way a criticism of them. But what they'll do is they'll get to an intersection and they'll go to one corner facing the opposite corner. They'll build up speed and they'll hit that snow there, hit it pretty hard and compact it even further. And they'll go around to all four corners of the intersection and do it that way. So by the time the poor homeowner gets out there with his snow shovel, it's pretty hopeless. I mean, I do go back and trade my snow shovel in for a garden spade and just chip away at that stuff for hours. That's why I'm asking, if you're looking for better ideas, maybe a better idea would be to just clear a single path out to the street and the rest of the world instead of this redundant path that really serves no practical purpose.
So, Ms. Max, if you just chime in here as well. So, at those intersections, there are crosswalks, right? Some are going east, some are going west. So the idea is to clear a path to the crosswalk. If you had one, as Mr. Sharp's indicating, would go to the middle. But
No, not the middle, just pick one or the other.
Well, then, if you had one, then you'd have only a clear path to go west, or a clear path to go
Just
east
loop
and
around
south.
the bump of snow and you're free to go wherever you want to in the world.
Right, I'm
That
just
is-
saying,
that is
the
an option.
rationale as to why you have to clear out both sides, because they're both leading to.
Mayor, I'd also say, we're talking about when we get over a foot of snow. A snowfall 2 feet, 2 inches, 3 inches, we say only clear one.
Well, that's no problem then.
Well,
Everybody be
okay.
happy to clear
But
both.
so you understand the problem we have is,
I
we're
understand the
looking at,
problem.
we're looking at this drastic snowfall that happens once in 10 years versus, if you write the ordinance the other way, it'll just clear one side. And what happens when you have a, 2-inch snow? I don't have to do that because the ordinance says I don't have to.
Hopefully nobody would do that.
But they might. So that's why you write the ordinance in a way to be able to address the issue. And when you have, you're right, when you have 2 feet of snow, you have a problem. It's hard.
And just clearing out to the curb line for a homeowner having to do that, that just sounds like a fail, because you've let nobody get access out to the street and the world beyond. If you just tough it out and get the rest of the way for a single path, then people can move freely wherever they want. But if I have to hack out 2 paths that go halfway, I've accomplished nothing.
Well, if you're making it to the curb, that is the responsibility of the borough to get the rest of it on the street portion. So let's say there's 3 feet of snow piled up on the street, maybe it's even overflowing onto your property line. But if you get it to the curb, it is the responsibility.
Yeah, I know it's that responsibility, but I've not done any of my neighbors any good by getting 2 halfway paths as opposed to a single complete path.
Well, I do appreciate your comments. I'm not sure even legally we could endorse that, but I do appreciate it.
Presented from a practical point of view, I don't know what the legalities are, but just a voice more, a better idea perhaps.
We're all very stressed and strained by the dump of snow we had.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It's a
Hopefully
tough
we-
problem, there's no good solutions, but, there may be things we can do to make life better for everybody.
We will talk to DPW. These guys are experts in what they do, but we'll at least say, is there a way we can plow towards a certain area of the street that minimizes the amount of snow we leave, blocking specific entrances? There may be some things we can do just to slow down the process of redirect the snow better.
Yeah, I'm not trying to add to their worries, they have enough troubles with Boyle, that's some of the toughest digging you have to do when it's all packed in like that.
Yeah, no, thank you for your comments.
Okay, thank you all.
Other comments or questions? Yes, sir, Mr. West.
Bob West, 518 North Avenue. Just a quick comment, question about 2026-9 regarding verbiage, and not the verbiage that he says work out in it. Especially when it comes to adoption, you have these zones listed as AH1, AH5, whatever. To people out here, it's like, where is that? What does that mean? Was that a landing zone in the beach, or So could that just be added a little word to that to say, yeah, this is this block, from Lorraine to McCabe, whatever. So just so we could understand what these zones are and where they are, without going into big detail, specifically.
Mr. Clark has maps that he's done for that purpose. However, our clerk just told us over the weekend that our ecosystem might not be able to display the maps. Like, we can download it, but maybe it doesn't display. Is that right, Erica? Or
Yeah,
it's hard to display.
it's hard
maps
to
in the
display them, yeah.
So we're on the same track, and maybe we can verbally describe it.
It's kind of hard to see here.
To sum it up though,
Yeah.
it's Main Street
Yeah, it's
Right.
all up and down Main
and
Street.
west
Yeah.
of Main Street.
But we
So-
asked the same questions.
Okay.
Like where, what
Post it
areas?
on the website.
We could probably add more verbiage.
Yeah, just
to this
between,
describe.
just west of Main Street, between this street and that street. Just-
As long as it's de minimis, because if we do anything to dramatically change this in the introduction,
Yeah, I mean,
we'll have to get reintroduced. Mr. Cohen, I'm sorry, just, were you gonna comment on?
Oh, there'll be a map at the meeting on Thursday. And we're hoping, we believe there's gonna be a placeholder in the ordinance and the code so that we can put in there, just like we do the zoning map and the zoning schedule, we'd like it to be. So we're working on that, but there will be a map for the land use board on Thursday night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we display the map at the next meeting when we're discussing it?
We can, yeah, of course. I think the bigger challenge is how do we display it on an ongoing increases, so, you know, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, the contractor's looking at the zones and,
That's what, and that, Mary, if you'd like, we could probably put it on the website.
yeah.
I had suggested that earlier.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe with stacking cover on those, if you got those, display that. Anyway, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
We had to approve it first, so.
Anyone on Zoom? I see no one. Okay, so seeing no further comments or questions, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. That I believe they can do, but they can't, they can actually physically socially, but I don't think they can do that. Oh, that's a good
The tickets, the sea vapor, in Bradley Beach, were $1.10. They say it was at the, that they played the Brooklyn Royal Colors.